Well, my father was stationed, he was in the Army, and he was stationed in Carlisle, Pennsylvania at the Army War College. And then I just made the Little League team, the baseball Little League team. I was 10 years old. I was so excited. I was really into baseball. Baseball was my passion. And my father walked in one day and said, "We're moving to Hawaii because this is where I'm going to be." And it's the Hawaii 25th Army Division, the Tropic Lightning, with the lightning bolt on a taro leaf, which is what the Hawaiians made poi out of, their staple food. So this lightning bolt is the one that brought me to Hawaii against my will. I ran away from home because I didn't want to go to Hawaii. And my father gave me the worst licking I've ever had. But anyhow, yeah, I didn't want to come to Hawaii. I wanted to play baseball. But it all worked out for the best anyhow. From the first wave, I went out and my dad rented us a board at Barbers Point, which is one of the military beaches over here. So it's the same place that Jock Sutherland, who was one of my mentors. He also learned to surf there. And so my dad rented us a board. My brother went out, got beat up by the surf, came in, threw the board down, and I grabbed it and paddled out. I guess there were no sets coming because I had an easy time getting out. I did my little, turn around, and the first wave caught me instead of me catching it. And I stood up, rode it to the beach, stepped off to the sand, and I just said, "More." And that was it. I just wanted more. So that's how it all began. We were more or less landscape. We were just part of the landscape because we were just blending in, not trying to get in anybody's way, but always taking notes of what everybody else was doing. And so basically, I didn't surf to become a pipeline champion or any champion. I just surfed to surf. We didn't go body surfing. We went body womping. Why short break? You ever see that? Kaboom. But it was a good learning lesson. It taught us how to roll with the wave, how to get under the wave, where to be, how to let the wave miss you by inches, and still come out unscathed. So it was basically, I just learned. It wasn't like I tried. It just all happened. But these older people had a tremendous influence on me. He goes, "Hey, Worry." He goes, "What? He goes, "You're afraid of the sharks, huh?" And I just went, "You bet." And he goes, "You know what? The shark is my family amakua. It's my family's guardian. And we're going to protect you from now on so you don't ever have to worry about sharks again." And he was freaking dead serious. And ever since then, didn't even faze me. I never even crossed my mind about sharks. People always ask me, aren't you afraid of sharks and everything? And I just basically tell them I'm protected. They don't understand, but I do. And it's just like I'm protected by the Hawaiian. Because if she saw the waves are good, she goes, "You're going to school with me. You're not going to school with your friends." Because she knew we'd never make it. Dude would just go in and say, "We're here." And then just sneak out of the room, say we're going to the bathroom, jump in the car, go home, go surf, come back right as the lunch is finishing. People, the signature on my surfboard is just like my mother's. And everybody goes, how come your mother's signature is like yours? I went, "No, my signature is like hers because would you please let Rory go to surf?" And I signed her name. People don't figure that out. But yeah, that was, that was a really good time of surfing, because it wasn't crowded. And there were the surfers that did come from California and Australia brought a lot of good new ideas as far as surfboard design. And right then, everything was changing so rapidly. We were coming up with so many different ideas. Jerry was, he was the man as far as I was concerned. Nobody made surfboards that worked as well as Jerry's boards did. They were just magic, man. Jerry didn't live on the North Shore. I had pipeline all to myself for years and years. He'd come over for Thanksgiving and Christmas to see his mom, stay on the North Shore, and surf it for a couple of weeks. But the rest of the year was all mine. And he'd leave his surfboard, so not only was he not there, I had his surfboards to surf. That time was really neat. And the competition thing, it was magic. There was no such thing as competition. Nobody was competing against anything else. And that was the real special time where people surfing for the feeling of surfing. They have no idea what it was like to paddle out the sunset and get caught inside before you even catch one wave, get caught inside, lose your board, have to swim all the way back to the beach and get your board, paddle back out again. I mean, people have no concept of that. And thank God I had a really good, swimming upbringing. My parents put me on a swim team at Schofield Barracks, and I hated it. But I ended up being on a state champion swim relay team. I was a Hawaii State swim champion on a relay team. I can't take all the credit because there was 3 other guys, but it really paid off as far as surfing and the paddling. Like Jerry said, there was no way you could not be. I mean, you're in the water. I was in the water with. Like I said, I didn't do it on purpose. I just went surfing, and I got to meet all these guys. They took care of me. They saw my passion, and said, this one guy came up to me one time, and he goes, Mr. Russell, he goes, I've never seen you surf, but I know you had to been really, really good because Jerry Lopez would never pick second best. I just went, all right. Oh, thanks, Jerry. Traveling to Japan and Indonesia together in Australia. And he was a very good inspiration, a very good idol. Not idol, but someone that would give you good influence. I started shaping in 1971. It was $16 for a blank, $20 for the resin, and that was basically it. So we could make a board for under $40. And it didn't really matter what it looked like, but it was, something that we had access to, and something that got all our, figured out what worked, what didn't work, how to glass, how to sand. We went through the whole thing, which was really good. But as far as production, my whole thing was learn how, know how, but stay in the water and surf. Let me try this one, Jer. I'll bring it back in a couple of years for a test time. I used that line. Yeah, we had some fun times. One time, we were in a surf contest in Australia, the big Coca-Cola surfer bout in Sydney. And they were calling my heat, and there were all these people lined up on the beach. And I ran down, I got my jersey, and I ran down to the beach to paddle out, and I ran by Jerry. And he goes, hey, kid, where's your board? And I stopped. I went, frick, I don't have my fucking surfboard. So I had to kind of be real casual and put my hand, and Jerry's just laughing his ass off. So I had to turn around and walk through the crowd and get my board and walk behind everybody. And then paddle out for my heat. I've been a lot of places, but I can't say I've been everywhere. And I really like traveling, and it's really neat that people accept me, And I just enjoyed meeting people. And oh yeah, Morocco is incredible. Yeah, and Portugal, the whole world was really neat. And this last trip was really neat when we went to the UK and Italy and stuff. I really wanted to go surfing in the UK by next time. The thing was, that was at an early age, and it was really good because I was getting really a lot of publicity when I was like 15 and 16. And I was getting, my peers I was getting some like jealous, hostile vibes because of all the attention I was getting. It didn't affect me, but it affected the people that I was around. And I didn't want to make them think that I was any better a person than they were, even though I was, so well exposed, in the media. And so a friend of mine knew that was kind of a dilemma with me, that I couldn't just that's me in that picture, or that's me on the movie, and I didn't like that. So basically it was like a third party type thing. The dog was not Rory, the dog was a third party, that it would keep him at a nice level, as far as social status, and he wouldn't let it go to his head, to be Rory Russell and all this, which I could have easily done. But it was one of those things where we were all it was a hippie thing. We were into love and peace, and we're all the same, and nobody's better than anybody else. And so being humble is basically what it was. There's knowing when to be humble and when not to overstep your bounds. We didn't know that, and if we did, we didn't want to accept it. You know, we just wanted to be surfers for the North Shore. We didn't let that rock star. What? I'm an open book, and basically everybody knows everything I've done and do, and I have nothing to hide. And if I wish I could think of maybe I had some superpower that nobody knew about, but I ain't gonna find. No, I'm just me. My dad, the colonel, full army. He asked me, "What do you want to do in life?" And I said, "I just want to reach out, touch a person's heart, bring a smile on their face, and leave an indelible mark." But yeah, basically, it's just to make people smile. That people don't smile enough. Don't get into surfing for the money or the fame. You get into it for the wrong reason, man. You just get into, if you're into surfing, for the feel, the feeling. It's called the feel. I like riding waves because I like the way they feel.
Yeah.
I just figured that one out, man. It's all about the feel. Everybody wants to feel good. How you doing? Feeling good? I mean, you can, because you'll learn from it. Everything happens for a reason. Once you have your faith established and solidified, all you got to do is just go. Do the right thing and everything will happen. I can't set goals because who knows what's going to change in the next minute, you know? But I know that my goal is to do positive and not do anything negative. And so it's all in the feel. It feels good. Oh, yeah. Well, it's been part of my life. Why not? You know? Why not have a connection with it? I mean, it's such a part of my life. I wear a lightning bolt. I've had lightning bolt on forever. And, yeah. People don't realize it, but if you put a lightning bolt on your surfboard, it goes faster. They don't know that. It's the same. Everybody, it's life. I mean, there's never a better logo, symbol, anything ever created. The lightning bolt, everybody in the world identifies with it. You see it everywhere. And not just in reference to surfing, but in reference to anything. Lightning bolts are everywhere. The first time we went to Indonesia in 1974, all the telephone poles had lightning bolts on them. How's that for far out? We were driving down the street and went, wow, that telephone pole has a lightning bolt on it. Hey, that telephone. And then we realized all the telephone poles, we were surrounded by lightning bolts in Bali. People didn't even know. There's a big metaphysical, I have a metaphysical relationship with lightning bolts. Beyond the physical, what you can see and what you feel. I mean, it's like I said, the reason I came here was because of this lightning bolt. So my dad could protect the United States and democracy. You know, so it's a long-term interaction with life, I guess. If somebody doesn't believe in God, all you got to do is take them out a 10-foot pipeline. They'll become a believer real quick, let me tell you. What it means to be loyal and how important loyalty is. In fact, a lot of people don't know that I did the first Quicksilver ad in Surfing Magazine. I did the first Rip Curl ad in Surfing Magazine. And then the three of them got together and go, oh, Rory, I think there's a little bit of a conflict of interest here. And I just went, yeah. So I had to pick, you know, and I picked lightning bolt because it's forever with me. Reaching out and touching people's hearts and bringing a smile on their face and leaving an indelible mark. It's good because you don't have to get into politics or religion or anything else. You just make them smile and aloha. Oh, yeah. My mother was surprised I blessed myself before I paddle out. That's a smart move. I said, you bet it is, Mom. It's, even though it's only water. As far as surfing and riding waves, there's been 3 times where I've had 3 waves where I came out of the wave and the guys told me, you will never, ever do that again. Once at Ala Moana, once at Padang Padang, and once at Lani Ikea. And the waves, if you can imagine somebody looking at you going, you'll never, ever do that again. You know how heavy that wave was. It's pretty, yeah. Those were heavy ones. We'll do that again. Yeah, because Lightning represents all the energy in the world, and basically what we're looking for is world peace. And it's basically what Jerry has done with his being a yogi. You know, is he's going for that pure energy source, that pure light of godliness, you know? And that's what we all strive for. And if not all of us, if we all did, then we'd have world peace. And that's the biggest obstacle. But that's a pure source right there. Is world peace would be wonderful, man. Be happening. No, you know what? I used to do yoga a lot. In fact, I went by my friend's house the other day, and he's getting yoga instruction. And I'm like, I'm going for physical therapy because I had that little heart problem a couple months ago. So basically, I'm just getting back into learning even just how to, I had to reboot everything. From breathing to eating to going to the bathroom to just the basic kind of talking. I mean, I couldn't construct a sentence before, 3 months ago. I was just mentally and physically exhausted. I worn out, so now I'm rebooting it. Now I'm paddling and swimming, and I feel so good. And I'm ready to surf again, so yeah, surfing's the best. Duke Boyd told me long ago, he goes, never stop surfing. And I did. And life is better when I do. Life is better when I do. Yeah, that's another, yeah. I was a merchant marine officer too. I was a merchant marine captain, merchant marine officer, United States merchant marine officer at your service. But my lifestyle was a little too sketchy for the Coast Guards. So I didn't renew my license. One of the neatest things is teaching surfing. When I went to I moved to the Big Island in 2002 to help my brother. He was moving house. He was a big contractor and stuff. And so I ended up getting a job teaching surf lessons. And that was it, man. It was like the first wave I ever, only they get to ride the wave. And they got the same feeling that I felt. And there's nothing like the smile on a person after they've ridden their first wave. I mean, it's incredible. And basically, everybody stands up. If they don't stand up, they don't come in. And it gets cold and dark out. Pick my spot at the pipe in the lineup at the pipe. I've been surfing a lot as a little kid, and getting little tubes on the inside, but nothing, not the hardcore 6 foot plus. And then Chuck Sullivan had this board. It was a 710 Plastic Fantastic that Danny Callahan had shaped. And Jock joined the Army and left the board at his house next door to mine. And one day the pipe was just really good, about 6 to 8 feet. Little boards, because we didn't have a whole bunch of boards, there was no such thing as a quiver. It was like a one board quiver. You surf from 2 foot to 12 feet, It doesn't seem like it's been 50 years. It's incredible. In fact, I didn't take advantage of a lot of fame that I could have. I just said, no, I just want to be the dog. I don't want to be King, Mr. Pipeline. I'll be the Prince of Pipeline. I don't want to be the king because everybody wants to assassinate the king. I'll stick with being the prince. Let Jerry be the king. Very important to life. I mean, it's everywhere. It's very important. Everybody identifies with a lightning bolt. They don't have to be a surfer. They just see lightning bolt. They know the energy's there. It symbolizes energy, good, positive energy, pure source. Thames Reef. This is where I grew up for 40 years. And these 3 people, the most influential surfers in my life, was this guy, Earl Dolan, this guy, Paul Loughran, and Jock Sullivan. And Earl Dolan was the guy who would pick me up, a little kid, take me out to 10-foot Haleiwa. He was really, really an inspiration. And Paul Loughran, nobody's ever even heard about him, was a fireman, but he was one of the smoothest goofy footers you could ever imagine. His style is comparable to Jerry's as far as aesthetics and grace. And he's just a very humble man. That's why nobody's ever heard of him. And then, of course, Jock Sullivan. And then the rest of these guys were all the guys I grew up with that were never in Surfer Magazine. Like I was saying, I was trying to downplay my fame. So I figured I'd just get a bunch of my guys who would never ever be in Surfer Magazine, you know, and put them on the back cover. And we paid them $5. They said, now you're a professional surfer. And so all these guys with their kids were all friends that I grew up surfing with, you know. And so I thought a little reciprocation of aloha to them. They were all stoked. In fact, this kid, I went to the beach at Chun's the other day, and his brother is a lifeguard, a captain of the lifeguards, and said, hey man, remember that Chun's Reef ad you guys did? I went, yeah, I got it hanging in my house. But they were all, I mean, I've had amazing being Roy Russell. And I didn't ask for it, it just happened. I'm not complaining at all. It's like baseball. As long as you win 50, you can lose 50. It's still a winning season. You know, but if you win 49 and lose 51, it's not a losing season. So I mean, between all the highs and lows I've gone through in our life, we've all been at the very bottom, very top. This is the heavy one. It was 1978. I won 2 years in a row, and it was the finals. And we're on the beach, and Jerry goes, should I ride a 7.6 or a 7-footer? And I told him, I'm riding a 7.6. Ride a 7-footer. And just basically thinking, you know, it'd be at a disadvantage, which is my karma. And so the first wave of the heat of the finals comes in, and it's just a perfect wave. I mean, perfect. I'm right in his spot. Jerry's a little too far out and this and that, and he's going for it. And they told us on the beach, 2 guys on the wave, the guy on the inside gets penalized. It cuts the wave in half, and it's counted as a score. So Jerry's trying to take off with this thing, and I go, do you have it? You got it? And I didn't hear anything, so I took off and just pulled into first wave of the finals. Pulled into this perfect 6-7 foot pipe barrel, fucking came out and just went. 3 years in a row, this one's mine, man. It was mine. I turned around and looked in the white water, and there was Jerry in the white water. And I knew right then that I was automatically penalized. And I was so blown away. I went from the highest high to the lowest low in a second. I was so blown away. I sat there waiting for him to paddle out. I went, Jerry, I asked you, do you got it? Do you have it? And he goes, I'm not like you, doggy. I have a big mouth. I can yell when I'm paddling. I was either first or second 5 years in a row. Well, I've done that. And then another thing, somebody else told me a while ago, they go, do you know that you were ranked #1 in the world 3 times in your career? And so, yeah, he goes, here it is. Showed me the thing. And the pipeline contest was the first contest of the year. So when I won it, I was automatic, started off circuit first place. And the next year, the same thing. And then I won this World Cup at Sunset. And so I was first place after the Masters, and first place after the Sunset contest. I was ranked #1 3 times in the world. I didn't even know it. A lot of shit I've done I don't even know. This is right where I belong.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I did so nicely here. All the things we did as kids, man. Right. For 50, you know, I've been here since for 50 years, 57 years. I'm 67, 68. I came here when I turned 11. That's 50-something years. Peace. Love you guys.